So, the 3.0 update is finally here and the meta has completely shifted, which is such fantastic and refreshing news, isn't it? Isn't it? Oh. Well, while we didn't get the elusive dumpster saxophone that I was hoping for, and while the current optimal meta almost across the board now involves wearing Valstrax like a mascot costume, all of the previously released Elder Dragon weapons have received a much needed update, and now we no longer need to make any serious damage sacrifices in service of extra spice. In the case of the Chameleos Glaive, now named the full-fledged Hazy caster, we now have an extra 10 base damage, 3 poison buildup, and a hefty amount of weight sharpness, as well as the Rampage skill attack boost 3 if you really want to maximize the damage potential. Though, I'll be sticking with Chameleos Soul to fit the poison and healing mage theme of the original build. If you're interested, definitely check out my first video if you want to see where I started and get some tips on how to better use the weapon with your powder Kinsect. I'll be including my preferred build, as well as a few variations at the end and in the description. The original build hasn't needed to change much, other than a shift in decorations to take advantage of the buffs from 3.0, but there's still plenty of room to customize for yourself. Unfortunately, while the Valstrax Gauntlets would provide 2 levels of weakness exploit, it would completely remove our weapon's poison damage due to having level 1 Dragon Heart. So I've been spending this week testing to determine what exactly is the most optimal build for this weapon, without any armor changes or crucial Talisman RNG requirements. The only necessity to make this at the moment, other than the gear itself, is a Talisman with a level 3 and a level 2 slot. I was lucky enough to meld one that optimized what I wanted to make, but recovery up is simply for quality of life if you choose the powder Kinsect, Ladypavise, to your advantage, and poison attack can easily replace any number of level 1 decorations. So here's the version that I prefer. With this one I opted to mainly focus on sharpness and crit damage. Hazy caster, of course. I've equipped Chameleos Soul as the Rampage skill. I'm not sure if they've increased the chance, or if I'm just lucky, but in testing this feels like it procs more often now. Ladypavise is my Kinsect for poisoning and healing when using the marking projectile strategy over regular essence collecting, a critical boost, and 2 grinder decorations. Kaiser Crown gives level 3 crit eye and another level of crit boost, as well as the last grinder decoration. Vaik Mail has the most flexibility. On this I went with a Handicraft, a weakness exploit, and a poison attack decoration. Sinister Gauntlets give us another level 2 in Handicraft. Hellfire Cloak helps for Magnamalo farming, but otherwise makes no difference. And I went with another weakness exploit decoration in the level 2 slot. For the waist, Anja Coil for attack boost 2, and I slotted the final weakness exploit decoration, along with 2 Stamina Thief jewels. Ingot Greaves are a great pick for a lot of different builds, with 2 levels in both attack boost and crit eye, and the final Stamina Thief deco can go in the level 1 slot. Absolute Petalace is for max health, since there's a few ways to heal on the fly, and for my Talisman I have recovery up 2 and poison attack 2, with Handicraft and crit boost slotted. But as long as you have a Talisman with a level 3 and a level 2 slot, the poison attack can replace either stamina drain or grinder decorations, and recovery up is not vital. The main issue I found in deciding on the optimal version was determining if Crit Eye could replace both Handicraft and a Crit Boost decoration to maximize crit potential at 90% versus the 75% affinity that this build reaches at its peak. I tested both versions by fully charging an unbuffed aerial combo and performing a Diving Wyvern to record the weapon's highest potential damage value without any static percentage-based buffs like Kinsect Essences or Demon Drug. I opted to test 10 of these in a row with both versions and recorded only the damage of the Diving Wyvern on the head, keeping in mind the total damage output, the amount of times a crit landed, and the overall sharpness potential. Without Kinsect buffs, each aerial combo only consists of 4 total hits of varying sharpness loss and damage, depending on where they land. So keep in mind that if you opt to fully charge your Diving Wyvern attacks with Kinsect buff 1, your sharpness loss in the air will be much faster than these tests, and there will be less of a difference between Handicraft 3 and 4. For both, in the event that a crit doesn't land on the head, the maximum damage for this attack in these conditions is 498. With the maximum crit eye version, a critical will land for 673, and with the max crit boost version, it reaches 698. In theory, if the results were to perfectly match the respective affinity percentages with a sample size of 10 hits, the critical eye version would reach 6,555 total HP with 9 out of 10 hits landing a crit, while the crit boost version only reaches 6,408 with 7.5 out of 10 hits landing a crit, making a higher crit chance seem to be the optimal strategy. However, in my test, the version with the higher chance only landed 8 out of 10 crits, while the other version landed 7 out of 10, both slightly underperforming and coincidentally netting the exact same total damage output. The likelihood of this level of deviation for the crit chance version is slightly lower than the chance that the crit boost one will perform like this. And taking it a step further, we can see that the likely range of damage for the crit boost version is much wider, making it slightly less consistent. But the main factor in my decision to use the crit boost version regardless is that after performing these tests, the max crit eye version typically dropped into blue sharpness on or immediately after the 10th diving wyvern, while this build can easily hit 13 or more of these combos before ever needing to sharpen. This means more time in the action to keep damage going, even if the damage is slightly less consistent. With some good luck, the increase in crit damage can also have a reasonable impact on your overall DPS and hunt times. That being said, if you prefer not taking the risk, maxing crit eye is an incredibly viable strategy as well, and is probably the objectively optimal choice. Here are the versions I tried out. Both crit damage based versions are perfectly viable, but if you find yourself focusing on healing, you can also swap a level of Handicraft for a final recovery up decoration if your Talisman allows for it. As a quick extra tip, I included a brief clip in my previous video that shows an interesting Kinsect marking technique, but I figured I'd go a little farther into it. Because the collecting process with the projectile is almost entirely automated, you may find yourself having trouble collecting certain essences, or find that the Kinsect seems to only be collecting a single type on each marking despite tagging the monster multiple times in different locations. The best technique I've found to maximize the potential of getting a specific essence is to send your Kinsect out to the monster with ZR plus X towards the opposite end of the monster from the part you actually want to hit, and then fire a projectile at the part that you do want to hit. This will force your Kinsect to tag the closest part of the monster as it approaches, and then immediately move to the marked spot afterwards, both collecting essences and leaving powder clouds on each. This not only maximizes the potential to hit the part you want by increasing the area for your bug to move, but it also gets the absolute most potential out of each marking projectile in your Kinsect itself. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please consider giving me a like and subscribing. Leave a comment below and let me know what you think I should try next. Check out my original video for this weapon if you want a more detailed guide on how I've been using it. It's my most popular video now, and I really appreciate everybody taking the time to watch it. Head on over to my Twitch at twitch.tv/sedentorium if you'd like to see me and friends play games like this one live. I've included more test footage on a Magnum Olive this time to finish off the video and give a better idea of how this weapon performs now. I hope this inspires you to make equally bad decisions with your time. Thanks for watching.
over!